Hi John and Kai, I have finished the preliminary package for your proposed 7.5 metre trailer boat, and I'll just go over now what's contained in this 17-page document that you can use to send out to your proposed builders in China who you'd like to price and get back to you with some costing or some pricing to build the vessel outlined in the following. So the first is just a cover sheet with some of the calculations that we've performed along the way. So the first one is a weight study, and so we've got, for these red items listed over here, we have different weight centers of gravity for all of those conditions. We use a margin, and then we've assessed your vessel in the following conditions. So with a single outboard Yamaha 300, a single Mercury V10 300, twin Yamaha 225s, and then twin Mercury V6 125s to 225s. So those are all the different engine combinations. So we evaluate different engine combinations because they have vastly different weights. So we want to make sure that your vessel is suitable for more than just one engine type. And then this last condition down here is some of the heeling conditions that are required by the Australian standards to be met. Over here we've just got a summary of the compliance to AS 1799. So AS 1799 is the Australian standards for small craft design. So this goes through and it just lists out some of the primary data, what this boat is, and then there's some parts here where it passes and fails. So the fails you see are for level flotation, and I haven't designed it for level flotation. We've designed it for basic flotation, which is the same as that Tristram boat that you have outlined before. None of these small trailer boats like this will have level flotation in my experience, because you lose too much top sides, or you lose a lot of area inside the cockpit where you have to put all that foam. And then over here on the far right is the part that will be most useful for your builders, because I've gone through and done a quantity survey or quantity survey, and so what they can have a look at this and they can very quickly assess their raw material costs. So there's 90 square meters of gel coat, there's 61.3 square meters of chop strand mat 400, and then down over here we've got there's 670 kilos of polyester resin. So they can use that to go through and assign some costs to that. The first sheet there is just some 3D views, so you can get a little bit of an idea on what sort of the vessels looks like in the various views, and then we've got the principal particulars measured or shown down here. Then we've got some elevations, and this is where I start going through listing all the various bits and pieces of the boat. You'll see all the dimensions here are shown in red. So we've got a curved screen up there, so I've listed that as a curved screen there. We've got stainless steel bow rails shown through there. There's a rocket launcher showing up there, and all the usual fittings that come with these sorts of boats. There's a floating keel system down there, and then over here using the zip weight trim control system S300 series. These are sections on centerline looking to port and starboard, so you can see here pretty easily the layout of your vessel. So back over here, there we've got there's a live bait tank that sits up here, and then we've got a bit of a machinery space under here where the power steering pump and the batteries sit under there. There's a sump space here which would contain the bilge pumps. There's a fuel tank forward of that, 250 litres. There's a water tank forward of that again, which is 60 litres. And then under here we have a self-flooding ballast tank, which is pretty handy for these small deep V trailer boats because it gives them a lot of extra stability at rest. We've got over here on the starboard side, there's a fridge over there, there's the helm seat, And then there's a custom tackle locker over here with with 4 drawers. And over here on the port side, we've actually got the same. So there's 2 sets of custom tackle lockers in there. So typically these boats are used for fishing. So guys are always looking for places to store their tackle. And those 2 lockers up there would provide more than enough space. We've got some custom shelving shown over here to port. There's a esky or a pull-out cooler box there, and then we've just got a shelf and some upholstered gunnels over there. Back over here on the starboard side, so there's a head over there to starboard, and then you can see the storage in under here and under here, under that bunk area. We've got a reel winch located up under here, and there's a bulkhead just here. So these views here just show some of the views from the top. So this is below the weather deck. So we've got bilge storage here and here, which can be accessed by these lockers here. So this one here and this one here. And then in the middle here we have a soft patch that allows you to access the water tank and the fuel tank for servicing if required. And then there's another hatch that sits over here to access this bilge storage here. And then all this green structure here is what's called your stringer matrix. So this is all the structural grid that sits underneath the floor. And then in this view over here you can sort of get an idea of the console, and you can see the accommodation area that sits in up forward here, and there's enough space there for 2 individuals to sleep. And then you can just see your head or your toilet sticking through underneath there. These are all sections through the vessel. So on the first sheet over here, so these are all these sections here, A, B, C, D, E and F. So here are all these sections here. So this just goes through and lets the builders have a bit of a look at the vessel that they are pricing up and how it is to be constructed. This shows the foam buoyancy that would be put into this boat to meet Australian standards. So everywhere where you see that yellow geometry there, that is foam. And then it's shown in all these section views here as well. You can see this yellow, all those yellow areas there are spaces that get filled with foam. Same in these longitudinal sections here. You can see that sort of light yellow there. That is all foam as well. Then we go through and start detailing the construction of each part. So generally there's a hull part, a deck part, some various superstructure parts, and then we have small parts. So I've gone through and created a laminate plan for each part, and then over here there's a quantity survey for each part as well. So the builders will be very interested in this little section here, because that shows them how this part is to be built. And then up here there's some more information about what resin system it is and how it's consolidated. So we've just got a basic polyester resin system, ambient cured and hand consolidated. So not a high skilled construction technique, just a standard construction technique, the same as that Tristram boat that you've highlighted as your reference vessel. So that's the hull part. This is the deck part over here. So these different coloured areas here mean different laminates. There's a colour key. It's the same on this hull part over here. So for instance, this dark green colour over here, which is the hull bottom, you can see the hull bottom laminate over here. And then this is the stack for the hull laminate. So there's gel coat, CSM 450, 600, DBE, etc. And then down over here you have how heavy that laminate is and how thick that laminate is. So it's 16.4 kilos per square meter, and that's 11.53 millimeters thick. So that's the deck part. This is the structural stringer matrix. This is the hardtop roof. That is the hardtop sides. That is the liner for the hardtop roof. That is the liner for the hardtop sides. These are all the bulkheads in the boat. This is the tank floor, and then these are all the small parts that will need to get their own molds made for them. So that's all the documents there. That should be more than enough. You need to go and get some pricing for this vessel. So normally what happens next is you'd go away and get some pricing, and you'd wait for that to come back and check that this project will work financially for you, and you select a builder, and then we would typically work with that builder to then go into the full design process to design this boat. So that the builder may have his own ideas about how he would like or what materials he has access to and how he'd like to use them. So that happens in the full design stage after you've managed to select a builder there. So I'll send this off to you now, and come back to me with any questions you have. Thanks for listening, guys.